Oh crap. You know what I didn't do? I didn't change my glasses because that's we have learned from experience that that's what gets people to realize that we don't do these all at once. So
We both have very dark images today.
whoa, really dark. Yeah, but there's my heavenly curtains of
Curtains of Heaven.
curtains of heaven. That's the second edition that I'm going to create coming up in
I
November.
actually like that title, Curtains of Heaven.
I do too. I wish I had thought about it the first time, but
It's interesting. I've had people, a few, write me and try to find out if I've got a dark personality because they say that my images are dark and they think it might be a reflection of my outlook. And I don't think that's true at all. But
not at all.
I don't, how do you judge yourself? But I can't explain why I am drawn to those dark, contrasty images. I don't know that I need to understand it. I don't think I need to go into therapy and explore my childhood. Not for that reason, anyway. um, I've gotten to an age where I don't need to know the answer to the whys any longer. I'm just happy to accept that I see this way. I
Yeah.
love images this way, and I'm okay with that now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think certain people's work you could see that they're influenced by some dark experience in their life or murder or they just had somebody in their family died or they've had some traumatic experience that might affect them. But you're right. I've often wondered about your dark images and because you're not a dark person in any way, shape, or form. You're incredibly helpful, incredibly kind to people, wanting to help them, generous. So all those things come to mind. Funny most of the times.
You know that when I was in sixth grade, and I might have told the story, we were going through the Beatle craze, and I finally had convinced my parents to let me grow my hair longer than a crew cut, and I had bought convinced my parents to let me buy a pair of Beatle boots, and I would buy black Levi's and peg the pants so that I had skinny jeans and
Yeah.
wore black shirts. And one day my mother gets a phone call from the school, and the school psychiatrist wanted to meet with her. And she said that she was concerned about my little brother, Kip, who was in kindergarten or first grade at the time, because in art class he was drawing with black crayons. And she felt there might be something disturbing in his life or disturbing at the home. And my mother, I don't think she used these words, but basically said, "No, you idiot. He's trying to copy his big brother who's all into the black stuff."
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
hysterical.
Yeah, it
That's
really
very
happened.
funny. Very funny.
Yeah.
Hey, so we would just want to say to the today's episode, look, we really, really, really appreciate all of you. There's like 1,100 of you now and growing rapidly, although in the last month, I think we haven't grown at all, but before that, very
Do
rapidly.
you actually shrink in this business? Do we have to worry?
Oh, I think we do. Yeah. I think, especially when we have episodes that start like this one, they're probably like, "Pff, stop." Anyways, but we do appreciate that. And look, we understand that looking at other people's images on Instagram is fun and watching YouTube videos about how do you do star photography and long exposure photography, getting your photography magazines, although they're far and few between nowadays. So your online magazines, looking at lens work. What else am I missing, Cole? What else can you be doing except what you ought to be doing?
Reading lens reviews and camera reviews and
Yeah, yeah,
going to
yeah, yeah.
B&H and scrolling through the new equipment out every
Yeah,
day.
yeah. So what's way more important than that?
Well, there is one more important thing than all of that, although that be fun.
Yeah, it is
That
fun.
is just getting out and photographing.
Yeah.
If you're not photographing, then really what you are is a hobbyist. And that's okay if that's what photography is to you.
Yeah.
But we hope those who tune in here are looking to be more than that and being expressive photographers. And there's no substitute for doing the work, period.
So let me ask you this. When you go out and I know you do more frequently than maybe the average photographer is just doing it as a hobbyist, are you successful every time you go out?
No, in fact, the ratio of success I've always said is 1 to 1,000 for me.
Yeah.
But I always have my camera in that car with me because I've learned that when you see something great and you say, "Well, I'll come back tomorrow," it ain't going to be there tomorrow. And
No.
even if it were, you may feel differently. I tell the story of the ceiling lamp, the first ceiling lamp, coming back 3 years later and looking at it, and it just didn't trigger a single feeling in
Isn't
me.
that funny? Yeah.
So there's something about our vision changes perhaps with our mood, or I don't know. It's kind of one of these wispy things that float around and you can't grab it, you can't define it, you can't even fully understand it. But if you feel it, you got to shoot it. And if
Yeah.
you don't have your camera, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. I learned that lesson the hard way a long time ago that I didn't have a camera. And then, I started carrying one, and man, I can think of three images right now
Mm.
that I never would have gotten if I didn't have a camera in the car. One was going to church, one day. I mean, here you are dressed up in a suit and a tie, and I'm on the side of the road on a snowy day with my, good church shoes on. And hey, but I had a camera. I was able to make the photograph. So short show today, just a loving reminder. All that stuff is fun. I like looking at what the new gear is and what new technology we're going to get and the new noise reduction software and reading about it and the comparison review. It's all fun. But there's nothing that ever is going to replace doing the work, putting in what's that book, 10,000 hours. You got to put in the work. And that work is going to include crap. It just is. That's part of the process. Like Cole just said, 1,000 to 1. I'm probably very much the same. Go out on a trip, shoot 1,500 images. If I get one or two out of that I just love, 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 that I would hang on my wall, that's pretty darn successful. So. All right, folks, we're going to do one more here. So, because we know how much you're looking forward to hearing us blather on and on, so we'll do one more.